You've spent a good portion of your career doing sound design and composing. How did that branch out from what sounded like a very busy freelance career?
The sound design thing was kind of interesting because I was hired as a composer for a video game company called Broderbund Software. They were in Novato, California. And so I went in for the interview and I walked in there and I was talking to the guy that hired me, Tom Reddick. As I was getting ready to leave the interview and basically was hired, he goes, "Oh, by the way, half the job is sound design. Do you have a problem with that?" And I said, "No, I've never done it." But it's like, "Oh yeah, no problem." So I kind of learned it on the job. And it's interesting because sound design, I mean, I've been composing for a while, and sound design is very similar to composing. I was already familiar, obviously, with all the tools in the digital realm, but sound design is kind of like composing with sound elements instead of musical elements, and sometimes combining the two. So it came pretty naturally and became a huge part of my career moving on because it got me other gigs that I probably wouldn't have gotten as a composer. It was at the beginning of the CD-ROM boom, which was huge. But I worked on a game that ended up being one of the all-time best-selling games ever. It was Myst and Riven with a company called Cyan up here in Spokane. I mean, it was the best-selling game for like 10 years or something.
Yeah.
I did the sound design for Riven.
Amazing.
Yeah, because Broderbund was the publisher for Cyan, and they had published Myst. And so I did some post-production stuff on Myst, but Riven came along, and I ended up coming up to Cyan and living up here and working for them for several years after that on the sequels that they did after that, and ended up writing the music for their games as well.
Incredible.
So you never know what path, how it's gonna wind and where it's gonna take you.